Charles Toe is involved in Charles Toe is alone in the wrong. And has no natural predators to himself. There is no one alone in the wrong to Charles Toe being alone in the wrong to myself. What will happen to Charles Toe? What will happen because the creation of myself is alive this way with Charles Toe threatening that I don't have a home for myself because I am myself. He identifies who I am to himself, and I identify myself to myself, and he identifies who I am to myself, and he identifies who he is to myself. In other words, when I went homeless in North Las Vegas, I knew it was because Charles Toe dialed 911 on myself and I went homeless. He was the caller, I went homeless, and I didn't have a home for the call that I could live someplace else because he called 911. He has that reality here. And I don't know the creation of myself that way. I don't really want the question. She doesn't have a home. Why would I ask that question? Let me ask it like this. God in heaven, I live in a 1-bedroom apartment in Highlands Apartments in Tucson, Arizona. I want to know if there is such a thing as a stranger who would follow me into my front door, and he fits right through the front door, and that he would refuse to leave, and that he would ruin himself to himself, asking me this question: what are you going to do now that you don't have a home? Because I am myself, and I am not going to leave you ever until I die. I'm speaking as though there is such a thing as a person that would do that, and I'm asking the creation of myself, can I get rid of this apartment that I don't like with a person like that? Well, I'll tell you I didn't like the apartment. Why don't I live in a house? Well, I didn't know I wasn't going to ever live in a house again. I didn't know that. But I know that now. Yeah. Did you know I was locked out of my house for the direct deposit? And that was a scheme about the savings account. I had a direct deposit over a savings account that was locked. Do you want a 1-bedroom apartment with direct deposit active and a savings account locked, and I'm locked out of the house? Does the bank know I'm locked out of the house? Did you know that I was locked out of the house? I don't know the creation of myself. I just don't want this problem. It's too many problems that are meant for God to handle those problems. Well, you can't use my clitoris and cry my head that I'm not a virgin anymore, but I have direct deposit and a locked up savings account. Why would I have a problem like that? This sounds like God had a problem. Yes, I did just wake up from sleeping in public. I don't have a house for that. I sleep in public. Why don't I have a house for that? I sleep. Do you have a problem with the humans would never give me a house to sleep in? Because why? How do they know where I am when I'm not in my house? How did you give away a key fit to my house? And you gave it away! Why didn't that happen on my first day in alive? I know what I did for my first day at work. I found photography in my house. I made a threat. My second day at work, I found a stranger in my house, and I don't have an answer for that ever. I did not allow a stranger into my house. How did this stranger find who I am and where I am? Well, I'm not selling my sanity for you. But that's a long time ago. I want to know why when I saw that stranger in the house, I wasn't allowed to go down the same stairs. I want to know why when I found a stranger in my house, I wasn't allowed to go down the stairs and out the front door, goodbye, one way out. And it's outside. Because you just sold a key fit to this stranger, and I didn't give it to her. And who is Charles Toe? Why is he going so low in himself, as if I care how low he's going to be when he dies? I don't have time for him to ask God that question. And I am certainly not going to landlord he fits through the front door and that he would have that gift of himself to himself at the end. You want me to extinguish him myself? I can. But why? Who are you? And I'm going to love you at the end of this. I don't like the ugly walls I've been looking at for years. I don't like the promise of my future in eternity, knowing that God did this to me because he's murdering somebody. You couldn't do that next door. It's an apartment complex. Well, how do you expect him to even like me? You think he didn't beat me to death already for the way I'm talking to you? That he has nothing in it, that I don't like you either.